Afternoon and welcome to Mind, Health, and Wellness with LaJune. This is the relationship edition, and today we'll be focusing on friendship. I am the co-host, Takia Johnson, and a little bit about me. I have a background in real estate. I've been in real estate for about 20 years, and I not only help people find their perfect home, but I also help them to navigate career path and to um, fulfill their life potential. I am a career strategist and also a life coach. And today I have joined this wonderful group of ladies where we'll be discussing the relationship edition. And today we'll be focusing on friendship. Wanted to take some time to introduce our panel, starting with LaJune. LaJune Singleton is our CEO and founder of LaJune Singleton LLC, Move to Hill. She works with women and girls, women over 30 and girls to heal from trauma, fear, self-sabotaging behavior. She is an actress. She's a podcaster, a health, life, nutritional lifestyle coach. She also does trauma-informed coaching and is a speaker and author of the book, Releasing My Trauma, The Root of Self-Sabotage. Welcome, LaJune. And guest speaker, Coach Tamika. Coach Tamika Lloyd is a dynamic speaker, author, coach specializing in integrative nutrition, relationships, and mental mastery. With a master's in health communication and expertise in transformational coaching, she helps women over five unlock their potential and transform their lives, mindset, and relationships for a more vibrant and fulfilling life. Welcome, Coach Tamika. And we have Tina F. Foy, who is the CEO of Bella by Tina Foy, luxury skincare cosmetics. She is the creator and host of the talk show, Beauty in Me with Tina, and is a self-care advocate for moms. So welcome, Tina, to the show.
Hello, everyone.
So we are going to kick off with relationships, friendships, and we know friendships look different when you're in your 40s compared to childhood and teenage and 20 and 30 years because, of course, you start to really, well, not everybody, some people really start to identify and know who they are and setting boundaries and what that looks like. So for me, my first friends were my sister, who's 5 years older, who I had to learn money really quick because I would have $1 and she would tell me 50 cents was more than $1. So I had to learn money real quick. My second friend was he was like my cousin, uncle, brother. I'm saying that because he's my uncle. He was my uncle's son. Then he lived with my grandparents. Then he lived with my aunt. But he was always like a brother to me. He was 3 years older. And where we lived at the time, our neighbor had a granddaughter that I used to play with named Nikki. And I was I was like, wow, you never really pay attention to it until you're older. So I was thinking, well, that was the first friendship that person, either she went back home to her mom or her parents, or my family moved into their house. And I was like, well, how did I feel about that? And then I thought about when we moved into our house, it was the neighbor's son I used to play with, and my mom would help him get ready for school because his grandfather was a bus driver and his grandmother was the cook in the elementary school. And he went back home to Houston. And I just thought about that was before my dad died, my first experience with losing friends in that abandonment process. So, I know Takia and I talked about she being a military kid and moving around a lot and what that looked like for her. So, Takia, can you kind of touch on your experience of having to lose friends and making new friendships?
So, yes, I was a military brat. And I to put it into context, I went to four different high schools. So every year of high school was at a different school. So it was a lot of moving around. And those are kind of, the formative years. And when you're really learning to establish friendships that are going to usually last for some time into college and beyond. But I was moving around a lot. And for me, I found that it was difficult. When you started, you take the time to establish a friendship, and then you're gone, and then that friendship changes and transitions into like a long distance friendship. And back then we wrote letters, so like I'm writing letters to them. But it got to a point where I didn't really put the time and effort into establishing new relationships. I knew I was going to leave again, in a year or so. um, and then even into adulthood, like the friends I have are the friends I've had for some time. And I really haven't invested a whole lot into establishing new relationships into adulthood, because I knew that I was going to have to change the nature of the friendship or dissolve the friendship. So that definitely affected me and my ability or eagerness even to make new friends. I think my senior year, my junior year and senior year, I don't think I took the time to really make any new friends. I didn't go to my senior prom. I didn't go to my junior prom. I didn't go to homecoming. I finished high school early. I went to work, went to college, but I didn't take the time to really develop those new relationships at that age. It wasn't until I got into college where I, met people, established friendships, and those friendships I've maintained up, into my 40s now. Um, and I literally, the end of last year, just dissolved. Well, not dissolved, but changed the nature of the relationship with one of my longest lasting friendships, who I considered a sister. So yeah, that constant moving definitely impacted my ability to and willingness to engage in new relationships.
All right. Tina, what did friendships look like for you when you were younger up until now? Well, up until teen 20 years.
So for me, I'm from the islands and I had a group of girls that lived right below my grandparents. And we would always play. We went to the same school. And some of my uncle friends, they had daughters, so we were really close. But for the most part, I was technically the only child. So those would be my friends. And then when I had to move to live with my mom, that was heartbreaking because I'm coming to another country, everything is different. I'm losing my friends because technically back then it was long distance to call anybody, and the mail took forever. So that was hard. And then when I came here, I made really good friends when I was staying directly in Atlanta, but I was only there for a few months. So that those friendships became long distance. And eventually, when I moved to my current area, we still stayed in touch, but it kind of dissolved because I started getting into sports and making new friends, and it was hard to keep up with each other. And it was hard at first because you try to kind of fit in. Okay, well, we used to talk every day. Now we're gonna talk once a week, or we're gonna try to talk on the weekends, and then eventually everything just stops. And the friends that I had from like middle school to high school they were nice. It was fun. It was what did my husband call it? Saved by the Bell era. You had your little groups
Mhm.
of people in Saved by the Bell era. So they were cool, and a lot of friends I kept until I want to say my mid 20s. I started seeing certain things, started paying more attention of how people act, their energy, their demeanor, of how you say certain things and they respond a certain way. And I met my husband at the same time. We kind of rekindled it because we knew each other in high school. And he started noticing stuff, and he's like, "Well, just pay attention." He's like, "I know you've been friends, but sometimes friends aren't based on history. Like you've known each other for 20 years, but they still can mean, ill intent." And I never understood that until I started paying attention. I realized that friends, even a person that I thought was like a sister to me, wasn't actually that. It was beneficiary. It was a benefit thing for them. And I've made new friends, in the past 13 years that we have been, you would think that we known each other our whole lives. And we've only known each other for 13 years. But you would think that we went to school together, we grew up together, we're just like inseparable. We talk every other day or every day, or we're planning something. If you were to run into us, you'd be like, how long have y'all known each other? Have y'all grew up, did y'all grow up together? So with friendships, I think it's not even about the history anymore of even if you went to school together or if you grew up together, because things change, people change, or you start to become more aware of if they're really friends or not. And it just depends on if they are true friends, if they have a golden heart per se, if they are actually what they say they are. Do they really care for you? Can you be on your very last and call them and say, I need the air? Could you have a mental breakdown and then not make fun of you? I'm like, I'm here for you. What do you need? So that's the friendship process I've been through.
Right, Coach Tamika.
Ooh, growing up, I still have some of the same friends that I've had forever. I have this one friend who we are a year apart in age, and we are still friends. I think back in the day, it's just, your kids, you're playing. You don't really know who you are. They don't really know who they are. You just bonding because you live on the same block or you go to the same school or you have, the same interests. And it wasn't until probably my mid 20s when I said, you know what, you can't be friends with everybody because that's who I was. I was friends with everybody. Everybody, you go to Jersey City, everybody know me. And I had to learn that just because I knew a lot of people don't mean that you're a friend for
Mhm.
me. And just like Takia, I had a very good friend, a best friend for years. And now the nature of that relationship has changed. And it taught me that people change and just go in different directions. And now being in my 40s, I get to choose to be around people who are more like-minded, who have their goals in life, because I noticed that the friends that I had, they had their thing, but it wasn't similar to my thing. And I felt like they were getting more out of the relationship than I was. And that's, okay at times, but when that's how it is the majority of the time, then that's when I have to, step back and say, okay, is this person a user or what? And since I don't like to say that about people, I just say, you know what? We were friends for a time, reason, or season, and now it's over and it's okay. And I'm definitely happier now that I get to choose and be more selective about people that I choose to hang with or that I choose to call a friend. I mean, even with LaJune, when we met, my husband thought, man, why didn't I know about her? I was like, I just met her. He was like, oh, oh, y'all talking? Yeah, I just met her. No, I just met her. But we're gonna be friends for life because we so like-minded about a lot of different things. And what I love about friendships, especially friendships like I have with LaJune, is number one, it's back and forth. Number two, it's I don't need a yes person. I need a friend. So I'm always going to tell LaJune what I think, even though I know she ain't gonna like it, and she always going to tell me what she think when she know I might not like it, and we still friends, and we it's nothing but love because we know that we're telling you this for your benefit. And that's what I love about the friends that I have now, that it's a mutual thing. And most of them I call my family. They say you can't pick your relatives, but you could pick your family. And LaJune is definitely my family. Sorry, LaJune, you're stuck with me forever. Sorry.
Hey, I love it because I only have one sister, and like I said, she's 5 years older. And I literally, see you guys as my sister. Because of my family dynamic, my friends always saw as family. I go to my friends with what's going on before I go to my family because our dynamic isn't that dynamic that I feel comfortable of sharing what's going on with me with my friends. I'm calling Tamika or texting Tamika or doing a voice note, girl, da 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 is going on. And getting her thoughts and input because I feel safe with her. I feel she's going to be honest with me. I feel that she has my best interests. And that means a lot to me because growing up, kids thought my family was rich. We were middle class. We were the only family. It was only four Black families that lived in a white neighborhood. Kids from school would come, they weren't even my friends. They would come over just to play with my toys and video games. So that was my first example of it's not you, it's what you have that they're trying to benefit from. And I would, they would ask, can I spend a night? And apparently my mom sensed it and she's like, no, baby, she got church tomorrow. Or no, baby, we got this tomorrow, whatever. And for me, it was, I didn't like them. I didn't understand why they were there. I just didn't have the voice to verbalize, go home. I don't want you here because I didn't have those tools. And my mom is extremely passive. She ain't gonna say it. It's certain things she'll come up with excuses, but it wasn't something that she would say. And it became that people pleasing that was established in that because, being from the South, you're taught even if you don't like them, you still got to be nice. You still got to be polite. You still got to respect them. You still got to, be a hospitable person. Baby, you hungry? Oh, you want, you thirsty? You want something? And as I got older, I started realizing that certain conversations, I had a friend that when her situationships weren't going right, she would take it out on me. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? What? And then I realized as I got older, I was like, okay, I didn't do it to you. That person did it to you. So you need to have that conversation with them. I'm here to be that moral support for you to help you through this process. So that means you don't have the right calling me a bitch because you mad at somebody else. You don't have the right to be yelling and screaming at me because you're trying to take your pain out on me. That's not fair to me. And I'm trying to be a friend to you and support you and love on you. So I started noticing those different things because it was that people pleasing and wanting to be like this best person ever for everybody. And I don't know who said it about they were friends with people. I literally had five best friends. And that was the person I was. I'm like, yeah, you my best friend. You my best friend. You my best friend. The funny thing was, these friends would compete who would give me the best gifts? And I'm like, oh, they gave you that? Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna get da 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 for you. And I'm like, it's not a competition. It is the friendship, the loyalty, and having honest conversations because sometimes friends don't want to hear things like Tamika said. I said to a friend one time, I'm seeing she's drinking a lot. And I was like, well, it's hereditary because you have a family member that's an alcoholic. She didn't receive it. And she got upset with me. And I'm like, I'm only saying this because I love you. And it pains me to have to say it to you that you don't see you're hurting yourself. And you're hurting me as a friend because you're belligerent. You're not behaving in the manner that you should be behaving as a woman. No. So I just started noticing different things and I was like, I have to find my worth because if I don't say no, they're not going to respect it and they're going to keep doing it. So with that being said, at what point for you ladies did you guys start setting boundaries or start realizing, you know what, I'm better off with these without this individual or these individuals? Tina?
I would say after I had my son, my first son, like I started before that, but really didn't kick in until after I had him. It was, I think, a mommy mode of, you know what, if I'm going through something, he's gonna feel it. So let me just remove myself. And I had already warned people, like, look, the person that you used to know no longer exists. The whole yes, making sure you're happy, agreeing even though I don't agree, she no longer exists. She is permanently gone. I appreciate what she has done. I love her for making me who I am, but she is on a permanent vacation. So here are my boundaries. If I say no, I mean no. If I don't respond to you, give me time to respond because I'm going through something. It's nothing personal. Just give me a moment. And whatever you have going on, I understand. I'm a air away if you need me, but at the same time, realize that my child is in the NICU, and if I don't respond right now, you're not number one, you're number two. And it took a lot of people to realize. I had to show them better than I told them what was going on for them to understand. And it was okay because I turned into the bad guy. So I welcomed it, as my husband would say, because everyone is fine if they dare to use you for their benefit. They're fine when you're a yes man. But the minute you say no, they are upset, or you're a bad guy, or you don't do this, or you've never done that, or you've never been like this. What happened? And it's okay. It's one of those things where you have to realize once you put yourself first, people that are meant for you will be there, and the ones that are not will be gone. It's more about quality over quantity, I take it.
As you said that, Tina, I think about many people saying, you're acting different, you being different, you acting brand new. And then they equate it to something else. You acting new, now you got a man. You acting new, now you got a business. You acting new, now you got a new car. You acting new because of your new career, job, whatever, but they don't equate that to, you know what? I have been doing things differently. Maybe I need to look at me, but it's
Right.
always an outside entity. I don't know if you guys saw like the meme on social media where the girl decides to have a conversation with her friend and tell her how she feels. The friend twists it into something else and then goes back and tells somebody else, yeah, because she said I did da da da. And yeah, she said she didn't want to be my friend no more. And that was not even the conversation.
Don't you like the flip of, you know what? I didn't do this. They didn't say, well, you know what? I used to do
Right.
this. I used to call her all the time, but when she called me, I didn't pick up the phone. Or I used to always ask her for stuff, but when she needed my help, I didn't want to help her. Or when she was down on her luck, even though she gave me her last, I didn't want to help her. They never say that part. It's always you.
They don't want to take accountability. And that's the biggest thing. Even like I had a similar situation where the friend I was saying that I had been friends with since college, we've gone through raising kids together. Our kids are grown now. And this is a person that I definitely consider to be like my sister. And I had an expectation for her to be there for me in like my deepest, darkest time. Um, and she wasn't there. So I've always been there for her. And there's definitely ways she's been there for me, but I truly had an expectation that like this is my sister. I don't have any sisters. So this was like my sister. And I had to take a step back and think about it, like from my like what how did I not express to her what my expectation was? Did I just assume that she knew how to be a good friend to me? And then you start examining the friendship, and and most times when it's like that, you're the giver most of the time. You're pouring into. You're the person they call, and we usually don't have a lot of opportunities where we're expecting the same, especially if to go back to the conversation yesterday, we're super independent and we've been taught not to be vulnerable and to kind of do it yourself. We carry that. And then when we actually do need someone, we need that friend that we've devoted so much time in, they don't show up. And I know for me, I said, how do I deal with this? Because I don't want to dissolve the friendship. I need to express for the first time. I need to have a voice and say, no, this is not acceptable. I expected you to show up for me in this way. And I need to take a step back to determine how I communicate to you what my expectations are in our friendship. And I thought the conversation went well. And then she walked away and did the same thing you said, turned it all the way around. And I said something totally different. So I knew at that point, this person is not going to be accountable for the fact that they just did not show up for me in a very important time in my life. And I said to myself, and that's okay. Now I just know how to move differently. And like you said, Tina, I can show you better than I can tell you. And I'm just gonna move differently. And and you have to do that to protect yourself, and to continue to pour into yourself. I agree with you.
Coach Tamika, what you got?
I learned how people can be at a very early age. When you're an orphan at 14, when you're homeless and you think you got all of these friends and nobody there. So I learned at that time that when I need help or when I really, really need help, when nobody, it was a stranger that was there, besides my godmother, ultimately, but it was a stranger, a man who didn't even know me, who helped me out of a situation. So with friendships, I mean, I know me and I know how I was like the fix it person. So if you tell me something, okay, I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it. And then I learned, you know what? Not everybody want their stuff fixed. Sometimes people just be telling you stuff just to say it. Sometimes maybe they think that's what they want, but they don't. And now I'm trying to fix it, and then I'm getting frustrated because you said you want this, but you're not doing this, and it just clashes. And so I've learned to set boundaries within myself to see how far I'm even gonna go. You got a problem? Oh, do you want me to listen to it? Or do you want some building blocks to get you out of a situation? What you want? Because I just know me. And I always see the good in people and I always see people's potential, but I had to learn that just because I see your potential don't mean that you see it or mean that you even want it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been my thing with friendships. And now it's, I have people that I talk to maybe twice a year, but they're my friends. And I know if something's going on, I can call them and they're going to be there. And I know that I had friends who I thought where I talked to every single day. You look at our text log and it's like I'm sending about 1,000 texts a day. And then here it is, I'm going through something. And, they say, well, how are you? And usually I'll say I'm good or I'm okay. But if I give you that I'm not too good, and then you're not saying anything, then do you really, are you really a friend? Are you really a friend? Because I can count on one hand and have fingers left over of how many times that I say, I'm not doing too well. So it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey with friendships.
It definitely, I can say, definitely, I remember I was dating this guy in middle school and somebody that was my friend. And he and I, because, that was during my player stage, but I was dating somebody else. And I didn't know they were dating. Like, I consider her as a best friend. And she comes to me, and it was kind of like she was saying, I had him, here you go, you can have him back. And I was like, but I thought you were my friend, and friends don't do that to friends. And that was my first key example of cut her off because she's gonna do it again. And she, because he was still calling me and like Tina said in the letter era sending me letters, and I'm like, but he's still trying to talk to me and never knew. But examples of that wasn't, I hear it so many times where either it's a family member or it's a close friend that's messing with somebody you're in a relationship with. And it's very sad because to me that says to me you're jealous of me, so you're trying to have certain areas of my life to try to validate who you are. And that is extremely disappointing when this is somebody you're hanging out with, you're having sleepovers with, and it's just like, oh wow. So have you guys encountered anything like that with friends where you saw, it may not be somebody you're dating, but you saw like forms of jealousy, or they're trying to be like you? It could be, you know, Tina has a business, all of a sudden they got a business close to your name, or, Tamika, all of a sudden you see some changes with somebody, or Takia, you like, wow, that kind of reminds me of me. So if so, what did that look like, and what choices did you decide to make in that friendship? Tina.
I'm laughing because everything that you just named, I've been through. That's why I started laughing because everything you just named, I have been through. It is scary. I'm not going to lie. At first, I know they say the best form of flattery is somebody copying you. No, it can be really, really scary. I had one instance where I thought we were good friends, and if I got my hair colored, her hair was colored. If I cut my hair, her hair was cut. If I wore a certain outfit, the next day she was wearing something similar, or if not the exact same thing, if she could get away with it. If I guy showed that he was interested in me, she was in the background trying to talk to him, and he would be like, such and such, well, trying to. It's recently, actually, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, because the company's 5 years. I launched the skincare line, Bella Vicina Floyd. I started sharing it on Facebook because I kept it secret for a good while. I started sharing it on Facebook and had a friend reach out to me and was like, congratulations. I love that you have a business. I see you're doing your thing. A week later, they have a skincare line and their logo is very similar to mine. It's very similar to mine. I'm like, you have to be kidding me right now. And she's reached out to me, and I was like, I see you have a business. Congratulations. She's like, oh, yeah, well, you're an inspiration. I'm like, well, I'm glad. And she's like, so do you make your own products? I'm like, no, I have a manufacturer that handles it for me. She's like, oh, where is it? I'm like, I have a couple. I was like, I have one in Canada, I have one in Florida. She's like, oh, do you have a contact? I was like, no, I deal with someone personally that was referred to me. And I cannot disclose that because it was within secrecy that I was given this information. And she was like, oh, okay. I was like, you sure you can't just tell me? And I'm like, no, I'm like, I asked for specific things. I researched specific things because I had specific need. It just so happened to turn into a business because my husband mentioned, like, well, okay, if this works for you, this is gonna work for other women. Maybe you should put it out there. I'm like, this is the only reason it became a business. Other than that, it would have just been me using this. I wouldn't have been having a business. So I'm like, I understand what you're trying to do, and I appreciate that I was an inspiration for you, but this business for me is not just a business. This is what helped me through my process of becoming a new mother, of finding myself and finding confidence. I'm like, I'm not sure what you're doing this for, but I think you need to look into what's the reason behind it and then come back to me. Never heard anything else.
Mm,
Wow.
mm.
Tamika. Because Tamika face says it all.
When I first started coaching, I had a very good friend and I needed help. So I hired her to help me help with clients, help with a whole bunch of different things. So she was interested in coaching as well. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, here, go to this school, talk to these people, did all of this. Well, the name of that company back then was Complete Serenity. She formed her own company called Complete Serenity Now, hijacked my clients, took them over, and it was a big thing. Like I lawsuit, big thing. And again, this was someone who I thought was a friend. This is someone who I knew since I was in damn near diapers. Um, so, and you wonder why I got trust issues? See, stuff like this is why I be having trust issues with people. So, I learned that you can't tell you can't tell certain people everything, and you just have to be really, really careful with who you choose as a friend. Because I would have never thought that she would have done this to me. I would have done anything to help her. I was doing things to help her, but it just, and when I confronted her about it, uh, she put it all on me. And I'm like, how's it my fault? I've been doing, what are you talking about? What? And she says, because I thought that I was better than her. And so therefore she had to show me. And I was like, if I thought I was better than you, I wouldn't be helping you get into these schools and doing this and sharing all of this knowledge. How did you get that? And it turned out she just had years of anger. I left the hood, I did this, I did that. And to her, that meant that I thought I was better than her. I said, no, you put that title on me. I didn't put that title on you. You could have left the hood too. You got all my clients. Why don't you go leave now? It's a choice. We choose how to live. But yeah, I got oof. Mm-hmm.
Tamika, what do you think, were there signs that you missed early on that you could share with us? Um, and I ask that because I'm also trying to look back and say, where did I miss signs where there may have been like jealousy or deception? How did I miss those signs so I don't repeat that behavior in the future?
Yes, I've asked myself what were the signs. She used to make off comment remarks, every time, when I graduated magna cum laude, she had something to say. Like it was a smart comment. But to her, she's like, I'm just joking. High school, thinking back, it was the same thing. Um, I thought those comments was just her being her. But looking back, no, I guess you was jealous since we was in junior high because that's how long you've been making these comments. But I didn't take it personally. I would just laugh at it and be like, girl, go on. If you studying and stop chasing boys, you can be magna cum laude too. But that's what it was. I wanted to see something in her that I didn't want to think that this is who my friend really is. How could she ever be like that? Not her. Maybe this one, but not her. And that is what blinded me. I didn't want to see it because of how she showed up for me during certain situations. So it's like you got two people here. You got the one that's crying with you when, your mother died, and then she's making the handed comments. I'm always going to look at what you did right. And that was my mistake. I should have just looked at it, the whole picture.
Hmm.
And
What about you, Tina? Because you mentioned yesterday that your husband kind of said something similar, like really listen to what was being said, and if they're, referring to your business as, oh, your little business, or, code. So do you think that similar to Tamika, just like missed clues, or,
I
you
did.
wanted to believe the best in them?
I did. I knew this person since middle school. I
Hmm.
shared with this person. I thought that they were my sister, like they were I thought we were just that close.
Hmm.
And now looking back, or even when he mentioned it, if I were doing like I modeled before, I was a model before I became a mom. And after I had my child, I would still have bookings and just little slight comments that would be made. And you think it's them being them. You're like, oh, okay, funny, cute, whatever. And when I needed like other girls, if I'm doing like I need somebody else to fill in, I'm like, okay, well, you know anyone that does hair, or can you come in and model with me, and we can at least start your book because she wanted to model too. Cool. But it's one of those things where they're like, yeah, 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 I can do that, I can do that. And the day I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I got something else that came up.
Hmm.
Oh, no, I can't do this because I have this that's more important. And you're like, well, if had I known that, I would have found someone else. But since you were that close, I figured I would put you in that spot first, especially since you're saying this is something you want to do. But just a little slight comments, or don't you think you're better than me? And it's like,
Hmm.
no, that's what you think. This is not what I said. I'm as down to earth as they come. I'm like, I've always been there for you, no matter what. We can agree to disagree, but I'm still there. If someone is giving you a hard time, I have your back. And it was one of those things that if I was celebrating or happy or doing something really good, they were always too busy. A really good example is actually when I was getting married. I had them at the forefront, supposed to be my maid of honor. I want to say maybe 2 months into the wedding, they were like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm getting married, so I have to plan my wedding." Mind you, they're not supposed to get married until the following year. And the funny thing is, after my husband told me that, we went to look for wedding dresses. I had all my bridesmaids and family there. And my aunt, it happened to be my birthday, and my aunt gave me this Cinderella carriage, this pink Cinderella carriage. I love pink, and it had a picture inside, and it had a happy birthday. And she's like, "Well, I have to leave town, but we'll celebrate your birthday after." And my friend was there at the time. She was supposed to be my friend, and my aunt was like, "You need to watch out for her." She's like, "I just gave that to you," and she kind of gave a side eye. She's like, "The
Hmm.
whole time we were in there, you were picking out dresses and stuff. She was giving side eyes. Everybody there is complimenting you and how pretty you look and how you should just go with several dresses because they're fit for you." And she's like, something is off. She's like, I don't like. She's like, I know you've known her. She's like, I've known her just as long. She's like, I don't care for her. Just keep an eye on her. And here we are a couple months later into 2 months before the wedding, and she's getting married. Her fiance at the time proposed, and she's not getting married until next year. I was like, okay, that's cool. You can still be in the wedding. I'm like, you're my best friend. We're sisters. You can still be in the wedding, and we can plan yours after. I can still manage to do things and stuff in between what I'm doing. Mind you, going out my way. We're friends. And it came to an instant where an argument came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And I'm like, I didn't know I was supposed to. Uh, kind of have a busy schedule. You're calling me the night before saying that you have this to do tomorrow, but I already have something on my schedule. Like I can't do it. So fine, you can't be in the wedding. We just kind of fizzled out. Come to find out, I was the bad guy in the whole situation. It's been brought back to me. I'm the bad guy. I was acting like it was all about me, and I was just acting like I was all that. And I'm a little confused. I'm like, isn't it my wedding? I'm like, I'm lost in the process here. And just those slight comments that got back to me after the fact. And I was like, you know what? Because I knew you for so long, and because we were supposed to be such good friends, I never saw all the little sly looks, all the little smart remarks I didn't pay attention to, all the dirty looks that I didn't see until I went back to look at photos or videos of us. And I'm like, oh, wow. I completely oblivious to it because we're supposed to be friends. And weird thing, and I'm sorry, and I do wish you the best, but you are, people are so mean to you because they can get away with it because they know your heart is genuine. But God always had the last say so. And weirdly enough, she never did get married. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have experiences as direct as Tina and Tamika. However, I have the friend that I had to dissolve the friendship with last year that we had been friends for over 20 years. I when I look back at that relationship, I recognize that I missed cues. And one of those cues was like this person was willing and ready to give me guidance and to give their opinion about matters that they really weren't, not that they weren't qualified, right? Because I don't think you have to be married to give marital advice. However, it was really like if I said that, I was going through something with my ex, they were ready to comment on it. And when I look at the advice that was given, it was never advice that was given that was looking to advance my relationship with my partner. It was advice that was it was very destructive. It, and I see that now, and I did not see that before. It's like, what, number one, why were they so willing to speak on something they had no experience with? And why was the guidance always destructive? Why was it never something that was looking to advance or move forward? It was something that was usually to stifle our progression or to stop it altogether. And I see now that I definitely missed it because sometimes we look in friendships for it to be that blatant, like in your face aggression, and it's not. Sometimes it's so subtle that, and we miss it. We just totally miss it, and it takes us having to go through the pain, the hurt, um, and the trust, like all of that stuff is broken before we finally get it. And I want to make sure that moving forward, I hear everyone's story of like, where were those signs missed? I'm often called Switzerland because I tend to, and I don't know, I would love to hear what you guys think about this, but I recognize people for who they are and where they're at, and then how they can benefit me in my life. So I could have friends from all different walks of life and get something different from them. Like I know that, my developing a relationship with LaJune, she's going to push me forward with my career. She's there to talk to me. I may have another friend that's my fun friend that I know, you know, they may like to party or dance or whatever, so you have different friends for different things. But I'm learning to pick up on the subtleties, pick up on the little things, so I don't. But what do you guys think about um, not getting everything you need from that one friend, but spreading it out and developing relationships where you can call them friends? I know the older we get, we don't necessarily need a bunch of new friends, but what are your thoughts on that?
I would say for me, I think I've kind of always been like that, where I had different friends for different things. If I know, say for instance, I'm very, I love doing fun athletic things. If I want to go to a batting cage, do boxing, things like that, I know who not to ask because I know they ain't they thing and they ain't trying to break no nails. So, but I do have like Naomi, I love her to pieces. I think it was 2022 when one of my good friends passed away. and my birthday was coming. And Naomi asked me, she was like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I was like, I don't want to do nothing. Because, like, I wasn't in a good space at all. And it was like kind of that beginning of my financial hardship. I was like, I don't want to do anything. And she was like, she calls me Deucey. She was like, no, Deucey. She was like, you want to do batting cage? You want to go to a golf range? Mind you, Naomi is like Tina. She loves pink. She loves her Jaja little fur coat. Her nails are done. All that. She's always glam. And I'm like, not that you trying, the weight of my dang on heart. Like, what? I was like, yeah, whatever, Naomi, whatever. So her and Robin, Rob, because I have another friend named Robin, we don't call her Rob. They always get together and they plan something for me outside of me knowing. So my birthday was on a Monday, the 26th. We went and we did the batting cage, and they never did a batting cage. They never played softball, baseball, nothing. And they're out there, and I'm showing Naomi how to do it, and she knocking it out the park. Robin comes, she's doing it. And I was like, they did that for me. That's not something in their element because that shows me friendship. That shows me you made it about me. You didn't make it, girl. I ain't doing that because I ain't trying to break my nail. I ain't, what if the ball hit me? Da da da. They made it about me. They showed up for me and they always show up for me. Um, and I appreciate them because, every time I've moved, they come over, they've helped me move. This last time they paid for a moving company because Naomi's like, oh, we're in a stage in life now that we ain't moving and we paying people. And they paid somebody to come move. She came at 7 in the morning and helped me pack stuff up, and she lived in DC, and where I lived at the time was like an hour and 45 minutes and to help me pack up and move. And I've had photo shoots that were like she would be there at 6 in the morning. I know this is kind of off topic, but that is, to me, the ultimate friendships that they show up and they're there. I've had friends that, again, I knew certain things they wouldn't do, and I never asked, I never bothered. But now I'm thinking about it, how do I know that they 100% wouldn't have done it? Because I never asked. I just made that assumption. No, that's not something that they really do. So it is certain situations where I haven't invited friends to certain things because I'm like, I don't think this is really something for them. Or if it's certain friends, I don't put them in the same mix together because I don't think they would get along. And I've had a situation where one friend thought another friend didn't like them, and I kind of had a conversation, and that friend was like, where'd she get that from? I don't even know her to say to not like her. So it has been, of course, situations like that. But, as I'm talking about this, I think most times that, as I'm moving forward, I think I would probably moving forward ask people if there's something they're open to instead of making the assumption that is, no, they're not going to do it. Tina.
Um, uh, it is, I'm trying to think because it is one of those things. One of my most recent friends, like I said, for me, family is what you make it. And I have two women that I known the past 13 years that they've showed up for me more than the people I know since I was in school. I had a moment where when I finally realized that I had anxiety issues, where I completely just out in the middle of nowhere, I'm sitting down with one of them and I just bust out crying. Like you would have think I just heard the worst news ever, but I just bursted out crying for no reason, out of nowhere, and all she did was hug me. She's like, I don't know what it is, but it's okay. And I'm like, I don't know what it is either. I'm just here boo-hooing, like mascara running, snot going down the nose, like literally boo-hooing. And she's like, you know what? Go see a counselor. And then if you feel comfortable, come back and tell me, and let's see what we can do. And I don't remember what the situation was, but I think subconsciously it came to the forefront because I felt so comfortable with her. And we may have known each other at that time, maybe for a year, if that. And I can tell you from that time to now, whether I am sick and down on my luck, she is making sure, hey, okay, you haven't answered your phone. She's texting me. She's like, what is wrong? I'm like, I don't feel good. I can't talk. An hour later, I have soup and coffee and tea and lodges and hand sanitizer sitting at my door because I can't move. And she's making sure that I'm taken care of. She's like, I know you got a husband, but you know, when he's at work, I got you. Like people that you don't have to ask for anything, but they know that something is off. Like they can tell that you're not yourself. And they're willing to go out their way, even though you didn't ask them for anything. To be like, you know what? I know you didn't ask for this, but here's a hands. Or even if I am busy, like my schedule is going around crazy, and I'm like, okay, I can't get my boys. She is one of the few people that I'm like, you know what? She's on the list to pick up my boys because I know they're fine no matter what. They're taken care of. I don't have to worry, and I'm very particular about who I can count on my hands who I trust with my boys. On one hand, at that. So it's one of those things where friends, true friends that are, I call them family, have your back, even though you may not think you need it. It's not until after they've done it, you're like, you know what? I should have asked for help. Or you know what? That is something that they didn't have to do, but they did it because they care and they really love you and they want to make sure that you're okay. It's not something that they would normally do for anybody, but they see you the same way you see them as family. So they're making sure that you're okay. And the same thing for her. Like if I notice, like if I'm texting LaJune, the same one with you. If I text you and I realize you respond, I'm okay. What's going on? Why you not picking up? So it's one of those things where people have a certain pattern or they look a certain way, and you notice, okay, usually you're always smiling. What's going on? You're not as peppy and happy as you normally are. What's is everything okay? It's like I don't want to be in your business, but I'm here if you need me. People that can do that for you and you can do the same, those are your friends. Those are your family. Those are the people that care for you. So that's me.
Coach Tamika.
I agree with Tina. It's those people that got your back no matter what. When you're good, they're good. When you bad, they bad, but they gonna lift you up. It's those who, check on you when they haven't heard from you, if that's your relationship. It's those who are willing to make sure that you're not self-destructing. They know you that well. Those are what good friends slash family are to me. And, I'm fortunate enough to have a few women that are in my life that are like that, where I could be smiling and they looking in my face and they're like, what happened? What's going on? What you need? I got this one friend, she always say, I got a trunk and a shovel, T. What we doing? What we doing? I'm like, girl, we getting too old for the trunk and the shovel. And she's like, nah, I got the scooter there too, just in case, So those are, the great friends. And, I've learned to cherish them the older I get. Unfortunately, I've lost quite a few friends in COVID. So that taught me to just kind of hold on to the rest of them even tighter because tomorrow isn't promised. And so if you know you got that good friend out there, let them know how much you appreciate them. Just, hey, send them a card. Thank you. Remember when we did this? Go old school with it because you never know when one day you may wake up and you may not be here or your friend may not be here.
Very true.
Very, very true. And I was talking to Tina yesterday, and I was thanking her for being here for me during my time of hitting rock bottom. And she said to me, she was like, "What did I do?" And I said, "You were being you. You may not have known what was going on, but you always asked how I was doing. You always, we text or she calls or I call her and she makes me laugh. And just, that genuine, authentic heart that she has, I felt it. And it could be where she never knew I was having a fucked up day. And she'd be like, "Hey, Joe." And I'm like, "Lord, you tell this girl to text me?" And it would be that. Same thing with Tamika. We would be texting and it'd be Tamika and Naomi. And they would text me, and all of a sudden, out the blue, they would ask me, "Do you have food?" And I'm like, "How the hell you know I ain't got no food?" And I'm like, I think I asked Tamika one day, I said, "Where'd that come from?" And she said, "You didn't answer my question. Do you have food?" And I said, "No, I don't have food." And all of a sudden she cash at me. And same thing with Naomi, or Naomi would literally come over and bring me stuff. Same thing to Kia. Um, I've known Takia the same time as you, Coach Tamika, and we were talking, and for Thanksgiving, she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I said, "You know what I'm doing? I'm doing what I'm doing every day. I'm doing live." And she was like, "What do you think about coming here and, sleeping in the bed?" And I'm like, "Let me get back to you." Because I had to realize for me with friendships, this season that, God had me in, it was about surrendering. It was about trusting. It was about asking. It was about, because we're not askers, we're independent. We're going to figure it out ourselves. It was about releasing and letting go. And I said to her, I called her, I was like, "I'm gonna come," because I never went to West Virginia. That was another thing. I was like, let me see what West Virginia is about. All people, my photographers always trying to get me to go to West Virginia and do pictures. And she waited up for me, her and her daughter. And I get there, and it's literally like a little luxury Airbnb. She got the basket with the towels, with the products or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "I know you're tired." She was asking me about breakfast. She made me breakfast. She wasn't, because we talked about, she was like, "Well, I'm not really planning on cooking." After breakfast, I took a nap, woke up, her and her daughter made a feast. And I was like, "I thought you weren't cooking." "Oh, I kind of thought about it and I changed my mind." And da da da. And to me, as we have said, friendship is not about how long you've known somebody, it's about who's showing up for you. And I have to definitely mention Robin. Like I said, I got two Robins. I call the other Robin Rob Rob. Me and Robin are friends that we don't talk every day. We talk maybe a couple of times a month, or every other month, or a few times in a month. And I moved out of where I was staying. I didn't have any place to go because I didn't have any money. And my cousin, who is a good friend, she's like my fourth friend when I was a kid. Um, and she's a Capricorn, not, and she experienced the same thing of hitting rock bottom. And I called her and I was like, hey, can you get me a room? Because she works for a hotel industry. She was like, I got you. She said, I can pay for 2 days. She was like, I need you to, she said, I know that's not in our nature to ask for help. So she paid for 2 days, and I called Robin on Labor Day, and she was asleep. She called me back. She was like, hey, girl, I was sleeping. What's going on? And I was like, hey, this is a situation. I don't have any place to go. And she was like, I got you. Come here. I've been staying here ever since. She was like, I got you. She was like, if I got food, you got food. If I got this, you got this. And I've known Robin for 15 years, and I was like, God, you know me, you know my heart, you know that's not my character. But it took me out of my character to find friendships. Hitting rock bottom, I lost a lot of friends, and it was heartbreaking for me. And me and Coach Tamika talked about it all the time, and she said to me, she called me Juju, which is funny. She like, Juju, God is taking these people out of your life for a reason because he's about to elevate you. And they can't come with you. And trust me, they're gonna try to come back. Because on my birthday, I was telling Tina yesterday, I was getting text messages from people I ain't talked to in years, and I'm like, why are you texting me now? But I'm saying this because friendship for me, I never thought I would have to look at friendship in this direction of when you hit rock bottom, that you have a true definition, a true vision of what friendship is and who's going to be there for you and who's going to root you on. Because people were mad at me because I hit rock bottom, and I'm like, I'm over here living in hell. Why you mad at me? And that shit hurt. It was like, what? You lose your home, you lose your car, like what? But I thank Tamika so much for making me laugh. I thank Takia for making me laugh. I thank Tina for making me laugh, because friendship to me now, it doesn't even, you ain't even got to give me money. If you make me laugh and you show up for me emotionally and mentally and spiritually, it means so much to me when somebody is at rock bottom. So that's what friendship now looks like for me personally in my 40s. If you make me laugh, you got my back. I can call on you. We ain't got to talk every day. You there for me. Thank you. So I thank you ladies so much, and the other ones as well. I truly appreciate you guys. So with that being said, what does friendship now look like for you, Takia?
I think you hit the nail on the head and said it beautifully. We all come to that place with a friendship where it's tested, and it's who shows up when you need them the most. And um, knowing you well enough to know who you are. I'm not a person who's going to ask for help. I'm working on that. But in the meantime, I'm not a person that just asks for help. But I need my friend to know me well enough to know I need to make sure they've eaten, because they get stressed out and they will forget to eat. I need to make sure that they have an outlet or know that they're safe to cry. I need to let them scream. I need to be there for them and show up for them in ways that nobody else may show up for them, especially understanding who I am as an individual, having moved and not necessarily developing new relationships very easily, like, and how I value the relationships I have show up for me. Because if you've been in my life, you've more than likely been there a long enough time to know me. But like you, understanding that some of those relationships, um, they've had their season, and now I have new friendships. and being open and vulnerable to my new friends to so they know get to know me so they can show up for me. So I agree with you. It's who's going to show up for you when you need them most. Who's going to invest enough time in you to recognize when you need help and to know you, to know the unsaid things, the things you never need to say. They just know your body language, or they know, like Tina said, I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. I need to reach out. That's what true friendship is to me. It's no longer the time in, but it is your intentions for me and our relationship.
Nina?
Both of you, Takia and LaJune, it's you hit the nail on the head. It is the everything is true. It is those people that they like they know you. You can have a smile on your face, but behind that mask, they know like something is not sitting right, something is not okay. Or you can just be in a daze. You could be having a conversation with that person, you're in a daze, and they're like, okay, what's going on? Because you're not here with me. What's really happening? Or the ones that you can laugh with, or cry with, or just act a little off with. And be yourself without having to pretend to be something that you're not. You can easily come around them with your pajamas and your face mask on, your hair all over your head, and they still think you're okay, you're a good person. So it is friendship now to me are people I don't have to question their loyalty. I don't have to screen read them to dictate what they're friends for. Like, why are you friends with me? I don't have to question that because I know you're genuinely a good person and you really care. Friendship is, like I said, family. It is also people that, God forbid, anything happens, you trust them with your kids. You know that your kids are going to be fine. And it is also one of those things that you don't have to be scared to tell them when everything is not okay. You don't have to fear their reaction of if you tell them that, hey, I'm not perfect. Hey, I've hit rock bottom. They're not going to judge you. And yes, you do lose quite a bit of friends along the line, but at the same time, I have a favorite saying that 2024 just passed. If you're not with me now, as I've crossed over into 2025, you're not going to ever be with me. That relationship is done. I appreciate you for your time. I appreciate you for your lessons that you've taught me, for the blessings, for the seasons. But if we haven't crossed that line over into the new year together, we are not going to rekindle or rebuild that bridge. If you can't be with me when I'm not perfect or as close to perfect as can be or what you expect me to be, you don't even need to show around. It's one of those things that if you're only around when I'm at the perk or the best of my ability, that's the only time you show up to benefit or get the glory or whatever the case may be. We can't be together. I need people around me that if you're in rock bottom, I'm there. If I'm in rock bottom, you're there. I don't have to worry, well, you know what? I'm not feeling glamorous or I'm not feeling like being this happy person that I normally am, and you're taking it as me just being rude or being stuck up or however you take it, because that means you don't know me. You don't realize that I'm going through something and I'm not myself. But since it's not beneficial for you, you don't want to be around. You don't want to be bothered. So it's one of those things that if you can't be with me when I'm down and not at my best, you can't be around me at all. That's what friendship looks to me now.
Love how you just said about if it's not beneficial for me now. And you, Tina and I talked about that yesterday. I had somebody come to me. See, that's why I don't be checking the messages in LinkedIn no more, Coach Tamika. Somebody came to me wanting to connect because she had been looking at my page and she was seeing what I was doing and all this, and I'm like, well, oh man, we got some things in common. And it was more of she was trying to benefit off of my platform. And it was just like, kind of when Tina was talking about, the friend was asking, where did you get this, the distributor, whatever, whatever. And this person went and got my whole PR, didn't even tell me. And my PR called me saying, oh, I want you to go to this location and do a photo op and all this. And I'm like, you went and got my whole PR and didn't even talk to me about it. So, I look, because we're helpers and we want to help people elevate, but at the same time, let's communicate. Hey, I'm interested in your PR. What do you think about that? And my PR wants me to show up somewhere that you didn't even have a conversation with me about coming to. So of course I didn't go, but it was, ultimately like, oh, you rode on my coattail and you used me. You got what you wanted. Now you MIA. Got you. So it is for me still that level of being more aware and observant of people and things, because it is that side of me. I want to help. I want to see a person elevate. I want you at your best. But it's also that part of me of, Tina and I talked about this on her live. I want it more than you want it for yourself, and I can't want that. So no, let me step back. But it made me think of that. So, Coach Tamika, what is friendship looking like for you?
All of what you ladies said, and I remember back in the day watching Oprah, and she said, if you can't ride with me on a bus, you can't be in a limo. And so for me, friendships are those who were with me on the bus, who were with me when I was walking, who was with me when I had nothing. And now, what I've learned to do, because at one period of time, I didn't trust myself, because when you see the true nature of who you chose as your friend, I started to doubt me. I'm like, what is it within me that's creating this? And so I had to kind of look deep and do some healing there, because it was me. I was attracting these individuals into my life. And so now when I meet people, and if I initially get kind of a good feeling, I always pray about it. I'm like, God, if this person is for me, can you please let me know? If they're not for me, can you please let me know? And I am telling you, within a week of me saying that, with every person that I meet, God shows me something will happen. It could be the smallest thing, but then I'm like, nope, that's the red flag. All right, God, thank you. And I'm going to keep it moving, because I want someone that is going to show me unconditional love, because that is what I show. I want someone that doesn't have any judgment, because I don't judge nobody. You do what you want to do. I don't care. I'm not the master of your life. You know what's best for you. But above all else, I just want to be around loyal people. Not loyal, tell me what I want. Loyal. No, loyal that's going to be here when I'm acting crazy, because that's what I'm going to need people the most. So love, loyalty, and positivity, because I can't be with no Debbie Downers, because that's not me. I don't want that in my life. I don't want that in my path. And I had to let people go that really do have the best heart, but they just so draining with the negativity. And then at first I was like, well, okay, they're negative. I can bring them up with my little bubble. No, I found myself being like, dang, I'm tired. I'm only on the phone with her for 15 minutes. No, no, no. So positivity is up there. Loyal people, loving people, people that have faith. All that is what friendship means to me today. Because when I go to the next level, I want to make sure that you were with me when I was on this level. And if I'm able to bring you up, because I don't get to the next level by myself. So if I'm able to bring you up, I want to bring you up. But I want to bring you up while you working on elevating yourself. I don't need you pulling me down while I'm trying to bring you up. That's just not going to work. So I'm more selective now about who I let inside of my heart these days. But I always gotta thank God, because when I asked him about one particular person, LaJune, you know who I'm talking about. When I asked and I said, God, I know this woman for a long time. Should I continue this friendship? And I'm telling you, God sent me a sign so deliberate that I was like, oop, I gotta let this girl go. Gotta let it go. And I've been happier ever since.
Well, you actually had kind of two, but the last one I had to let you learn on your own. So yeah.
Yeah, that's that loyalty for me. That's that
I had
loyalty.
to, I'm like, hey, I can only tell you this much, but you got to learn for yourself because that was my experience with that person. So I'm going to let you have your own experience. And then when you came back and was like, X, Y, and Z happened, I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. So, yeah. So
Can't make excuses for people, no matter
you,
how long
you,
you know them.
you cannot. So, I think this, we could be here all day, but I know we have things to do. And because this is, a topic that a lot of people struggle with because it's the thing we talked about earlier where people would be like, I've known such and such since, I was in in when I was born and we were in the birthing room together or the little baby room or I known them since nursery school and da 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 and it's like
Right.
you do know y'all different people now, right? Like y'all not the same people. And I see that a lot with, friends that say guys that they knew from high school or elementary school come in their life and they like such and such here. And I'm like, you do know you're not that girl anymore and he's not that boy anymore. And then they get in a relationship and then she's like, yeah, this Negro, he ain't da-da-da. And I'm like, but y'all not those people anymore.
Right.
And I think we fear that because that loyalty. We want to be loyal. We want to show them, girl, I still got you. I'm gonna show up for you. But at the same time, where's the loyalty when it comes to you? You're not showing loyalty to yourself. It ain't even about that person. It's about yourself. Where's the loyalty when, like Tina said, when she asked some friends for help and they ain't show up? Where is that loyalty? So oftentimes we try to be everything to everybody, and when you need that same energy match, they not there. And sometimes it's okay to say, you know what, I thank you for the lessons. I thank you for the season. It's time for me to walk away. I'm leaving you in 2024. And some people gonna try to come over in 2025, but you gotta block and delete. And yeah. But I think that's something that we as women we struggle with because sometimes it could be mommy issues. Sometimes it could be self-esteem issues. Sometimes it could be so many things, but we have to start looking at how am I showing up for me and what am I attracting? Because why am I attracting these type of people?
Mhm.
And that's something we as women have to start examining and looking at. And that's not even just female friendships. We'll get that into that in the weeks to come about intimate relationships, who we're attracting. So that is, definitely what how I kind of want to end it for me is start looking at people and how they're showing up because I can text Tamika never says she's okay when I'll ask her how she's doing. And when she says it to me, I know something's wrong, and I'm like, what's wrong? And, it's been, I think, what was it? It was the passing of your mom's anniversary. And I could feel her energy was off. And I was like, okay, what are you doing for that? How are you celebrating that? And she's like, I'm at work. And I'm like, why you at work? Because your energy off, why you there? And I think later on she said, you know what, you're right, Juju, I shouldn't have went to work. So, it's things like that being in tune with, I just always want to make sure that I'm reading people's energy and seeing what's going on. Kind of like, Tina, I can tell something's like if she's sick. And I'm like, you okay? Because how she responds, and she'd be like, oh, the boys got me sick again. And I'm like, girl, we got to boost your immune system. So it can be something like that, with Kia, she's like, I got work, I'm doing this, da da da. And I'm like, did you eat? Oh, I think I did. You think? Well, let me think about what I had. Let me retrace my steps. And that's what, the type of friend I want to be, the type of friendship I want to receive in this season of friendships. So, I definitely, again, I want to thank you ladies. Also want to give a shout out to Catherine, Nicole, Robin, Courtney, Rachel, Miss Elaine, Joy, and Vita. I hope I ain't forgetting nobody, but I definitely thank each and every one of you. Oh, my cousin Lynn, I can't forget her. I thank each and every one of you ladies for showing up for me, for seeing me when I couldn't see myself, for believing in me when I didn't have any more belief in myself. I thank you all for being a friend, for being my sister, for being my spiritual guidance and lifting me up. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I love you. Thank you. You don't know how much you've you did. Even, because like I said yesterday, Tina was like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, you did, and you had no clue what you did. So thank you for being there. And I thank God for putting you in a place of being there for me. So thank you. Takia, how would you like to close, ma'am?
Well, I think that was a wonderful close. We will continue our conversation on relationships. So please continue to follow LaJune Singleton for more information on that. This is a wonderful group of ladies. LaJune couldn't have said it any better. Like, let's move forward in 2025, truly reflecting on the past and what we're looking for in our relationships in the future. So, not sure if everybody wants to give information on how they can be reached. I can be reached at Pinpoint Your Path, or you can email me at tjohnson at Pinpoint Your Path. Coach Tamika, do you want to give some contact information?
You all can reach me at coachtamika.com. And thank you, ladies.
Do, do not send her a direct message on any social media.
That's what I said. Coachtamika.com. You're gonna have to call me because only Lord knows what message it'll be from 2023. I just don't spend my time on social media. It's a
She
time suck.
ain't
I
she
can't.
not gonna
I'm not. I can't. I
she
can't.
not
I be June be sending me some nice videos, then I'll be on Instagram for 2 hours. I'll be like, see, this is why I can't. I can't. I just be scrolling. So I know what my weakness is. But if you email me, I will, or call me, I will respond, or somebody will respond to you.
Okay.
That's so funny.
Thanks, Tamika. Tina, you want to share your contact information?
Yes, I can be contacted at Beauty and Me with Tina on all platforms. I would say TikTok, but we don't have TikTok anymore. So, but I
No.
am on Fanbase and Red Notes at Beauty and Me with Tina as well.
So I'm gonna go on Red Note and follow you at address. So Tina, be looking for my invite or my following. I'm gonna follow you.
Okay.
I took the leap. I took the leap. I took the Red Note.
I did too. I did it
I
yesterday. I
took
was like, you know
it.
what, TikTok? I already saw the notification talking about sorry, TikTok is being banned, the US law.
Yep.
Okay, bet I'm running with the
I
red
took
note.
the plunge. So I will join you there.
I haven't taken a plunge because this is my first time hearing about it. So
I'm like, what?
you
We
you
can
can
have
tell what I
we'll have
do
another
all day.
conversation on that.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what I do all day. So no, I'm not, yeah. But again, thank you ladies. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing your stories because it's somebody out there that's like, you know what? Yeah, because this chick, yeah, she be saying my little business and she be saying this and she been doing this and she done slept with my man and I'm still friends with him and I still with him and guess what? They still sleeping together. So, just saying, don't want to be the bearer of the bad news. Just saying, because I'm gonna stick beside him. Just saying. That's for the week after next conversation. So you guys tune in. We'll come up with a time and I will put that on there. So thank you, Coach Tamika. Thank you, beauty expert. And you know I always call you beauty expert, Tina. Thank you, Takia, for taking this leap and being open to doing this on this platform because we got two more to go. And thank you, thank you. You guys have a great day. Love and put yourself first. I don't care who it is, put yourself first. You know, put them kids to play and take a minute, 2, 5, 10 minutes for yourself and go back and join them. So next time, Mind, Health, and Wellness with LaJune. You can find me at LaJuneSingleton.com. You can don't DM me because if you I get too many weird DMs. So just go on there and it'll push you to where you can contact me. All right. Bye.